Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say I'm very sorry I'm not here with you today, but I've got a little sick guy at home. So we're going to talk a little bit more about scatter plots. And I wanted to start with this page. This would normally be our warm-up, and you would go through and say, well, which one doesn't belong? A couple of things you could say is that the top two have lines, the bottom two don't. The bottom two have no correlation. The top one has a number written on top of it. But let's talk real quick about a few of these things. The first thing I want to talk about, remember, is that all these dots in this purple graph are fading upwards. So that means that is a positive correlation. On the green one, they're all fading down. That means that's going to be a negative correlation. The two bottom plots, especially the orange, is kind of all over the place. Remember, that's going to be no correlation. And then this other scatter plot, you could make an argument that it's positive, but I could also make an argument that it doesn't have a correlation because of where it's at. So we are going to go ahead and in your notes, I'd like you to go ahead and pull out your notes from the yellow packet, and we're going to talk about this and work through. So the first thing you need to do is you need to take your time to check your homework. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to check your homework from yesterday. Can't see the bottom? There's a little bit more time. So take the time to check that. Make sure you check it and know what you've done wrong. Okay, moving on. We are talking about blueberries here, it looks like. Okay, and so you are going to create a table. And so we're going to create a graph just like we did with the wingspan and the height. And we're going to draw a line of best fit. And then we're going to write an equation. And then we're going to predict the weight of the blueberries. And as to how much they are going to cost. So here we go. We're going to slide this down a little bit. I know that my highest number is going to be on my x value is going to be 5. And I know my highest number on my y value is going to be probably 4. So I'm going to go all the way down here. Oh, this is really big. Let's see if I can make that any smaller. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and start labeling. My x value, it tells me, is my number of pints. So I'm going to write that on the bottom. My y value tells me it is the weight. So I'm going to write that along the side. Oh, my computer, I don't know why it does that. That's a funky looking line. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to add our numbers in. So I'm going to go ahead and start skipping lines. I'm going to do 4 at a time. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. What do I go up to? Oh, shoot. I go all the way to 5. So that's not going to work. Let's try that again. Let's go ahead and go. Let's skip 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Along the side, I now need to go all the way up to 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing I did along the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't really need to put a 6 up there. It's fine either way. Okay, now I need to plot my points. And so I'm going to look at my ordered pairs. Now this is going to be each ordered pair here. So I've got 0, 0 as an ordered pair, so I'm going to plot that point. And then I'm going to look at the next one, which is 1, 0.8. So I'm going to go over 1, up 0.8, which is about right there. Not exactly sure, but it's got to be close. 2 and 1.5 is next, which would be about here. Next I have 3 and 2.2. So 3 and 2.2. Finally, I have 4 and 3. Ooh, that one's easy to graph. 4 and 3, that's right on the line. And 5 and 3.75. So 5, 3.75, let's go right about there. Okay, so I have done my intervals, I have graphed my table. Now I need to do a line that I think approximates the points the best. So I'm going to look at all those points, and that's actually in a pretty straight line. So I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go in my straight line as well as I can. That is my line of best fit. From here, I need to write an equation. That's part C. Well, we know our equations are in slope-intercept form, and so I always start with y equals mx plus b, right? Well, I'm going to replace the m, and I'm going to replace the b. So I have y equals, m is my slope. So remember we just did a section on slope. I'm going to find this point right here because that was a perfect one, and this point right here because that was a perfect one. And I'm going to go ahead and do rise. Oh, nope, I'm going up one more. I'm going to do this one instead, not that guy. I'm going to do rise over run. And I've gone up 3 and over 4. So my slope is going to be 3/4. And remember, I leave my x. And then my b is going to be where it starts. Well, in this case, my line just starts at 0. So I could just do plus 0. Or I could have this be my equation since I don't necessarily need my 0. Okay. Use the equation to predict the weight of 10 pints of blueberries. Well, my line doesn't go all the way to 10 pints. 10 pints would be way out here. So what I'm going to do is, since pints is my x value, I'm going to plug in 10, because they're talking about 10, for x. So that would be y equals 3/4 times 10. Well, you can get a calculator out if you need to. And I'm going to do 0.75, or 3/4, times 10, and that would be 7.5. What does 7.5 mean? What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about cost. Oh, wait, hold on. To predict the weight of 10 pints. Yep, so this is actually going to be weight, so that's going to be pounds. So the weight of 10 pints is going to be 7.5 pounds. Okay, so that's going to be this guy. Blueberries cost $2.25 a pound. So now they want to know is how much do the 10 pints cost? Well, all I need to do is multiply these two numbers together. So I'm going to get my calculator, and I'm going to take 7.5 times 2.25. So that would be 16.875. Let's round it to 16.88. Now remember, that's money, so we have to go 2 places behind the decimal. So $16.88 for 10 pints of blueberries, which is a really good deal, actually, if you know how much blueberries cost right now. Okay, moving on, we're talking about vacation. And so it says the table shows the distance you are away from home over a 6-hour period on your vacation. Make a scatter plot, draw a line of best fit, write the equation. How many miles do we travel? Oh, this one I need to make a little further. Hold on here. Let's see if I can adjust this. Yeah. Oh, is it going to let me? Okay, so we need to first figure out our table. So my x values are my hours. So my hours go down here. And my y values are my miles, or my distance. So that's going to go up here. And, ooh, I have big numbers. So hours just needs to go to 6. So it worked really well when I went by 3s. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the end. Okay, so then the distance, we need to go all the way to 300, roughly 350. So I'm going to go up by 2s, and I'm going to do 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. Okay, so then I have covered all of my bases. Now I need to start plotting my points. I'm going to go over 1 up 62. I'm going to go over 2 up 123. Go over 3 of 188. Right there. Go over 4 up 228. I'm going to go over 5 up to 80. I'm going to go over 6 up 344. Right about there. Okay, again, it's actually made a pretty good line for me, except I don't have 0, 0. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line of best fit. Let's see here. That was a little straighter for you. And I did that. So it said make a scatter plot of the data, draw a line of best fit, write an equation. Okay, now notice how this line, how this line does not go through 0, 0. So I am going to have to add something on the end of it here. So again, I'm going to do y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to remember I'm replacing that b and the m. So I need to find my slope. So I'm going to pick the 4 because, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's see. I'm going to pick, let's go with the 3 and the 1. And it's going to be how many am I going to go up and how many am I going to go over. Now remember, you have to look at the side numbers. So if I'm going from 75 to 175, I'm going to go up 100. If I'm going from 1 to 3, I'm going over 2, which means my slope is actually about 50. So I'm replacing my m with 50. So I have y equals 50x plus b. Now b is where I start. So if I look at my y-intercept, it's about 20, let's say 27. My equation may not be exactly what the person next to me has, but that's okay. That's something that I can still work with, and it can be adjusted. Okay, so now it says about how many miles per hour do you travel? Well, that's asking you pretty much the slope. So you're about approximately, you could say 50, 55, anywhere between 50 and 60 I'd be okay with in there. About how far from home were you? About how far were you from home when you started? Okay, so when I started, let's see here. So the table shows the distance you were away from home over a 6-hour period. So from home when I started, well, it says after 1 hour I was at 62 miles. So at 0, when I started, I was at home. And you could say, a lot of people would probably try to say 1, it would be 62, but I want to go 0. Oh, what they're trying to do, if I went down 50, I could say about 12. Because if I am estimating, if I would go down every time by 50, then it'd be about 12 miles from home. That makes sense. Okay, so then it wants me to predict the distance in 7 hours. Well, I don't have 6 on there. I don't have 7. That would be like way over here. And I could fit it on the very, very end. Or I could take 7 and plug it in for x. So I'm going to take 150 times 7. Scratch that, 50 times 7, which is 350. And then I'm going to add 27 to it. And that gives me 377 miles. Is going to be after 7 hours, I'm 377 miles away from home. That's a long ways away. Okay, next, on Google Classroom, you have a quizzes that is going to be posted. You need to go through and do that for extra practice. The final thing you're going to do is you're going to do a graded exit ticket. Now, this is going to be something that you may use your notes on, so go back through all your notes and use that. It is only 10 questions. It is going into Synergy as 10 points. So you get a 5 out of 10, you're getting a 5 out of 10 in Synergy. Make sure you finish up your dream box, and other than that, I will see you all on Monday morning to take the map. Have a great weekend.